So the Buccaneers pull off a big win in Germany. It was looking like it was going to be a blowout. Seattle did not go down without a fight. They definitely made it too interesting if you're a Tampa Bay fan. A very fun game as a whole. Let's talk about the Buccaneers offense. What it did, still poorly. There's still some things they have to clean up, but also what they were able to do better this time than we've seen them do, seen them be able to do in other games earlier on in this season. So yeah, let's just get into it. It was classic Tampa Bay beating themselves type plays in this one. We saw Scotty Miller jump for a pass that he didn't have to jump for, which is becoming a trend. We saw this one, which is also kind of becoming a trend, but there's a couple of things to talk about here. So the first thing to talk about is that you see Mike Evans running a deep route, and there actually is safety help over the top, but that safety post-snap, just what's going to happen is they're going to kind of get away from that side of the field, meaning it turns into a one-on-one matchup, which Evans is going to win. Brady takes a snap, and Brady's not looking in that direction. I saw the commentators kind of, bring that up and mention it. Listen, I don't think it's a terrible idea to just always look towards Mike Evans' way because he's, someone who's definitely been getting open way more consistently than anyone else on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But at the same time, I'm not really going to get on Brady too much for this just because of the situation. It's 3rd and 14, and you're currently at the 34-yard line. You want to make it a little easier for your kicker right here to make the field goal. That's the mindset. The mindset is Seattle's probably not going to give you a chance to get the first down right here, and he did see that there was a safety over the top. It's just that post-snap, the safety didn't quite get all the way over there the way he could have. I know we expect Brady to be perfect, but listen, this is football. You do sometimes look in a different direction than when someone gets open. That being said, it also helps that Brady's first read on this play is getting open. Chris Godwin appears to be in a good spot. The Seattle defensive player who's covering him is turning his back, which means that it's going to be hard for him to make this play. So in this spot for Brady, I think he's feeling pretty good about himself. But when Brady makes his throw, he makes it to one side of Godwin, and Godwin cuts the other, which is part of what resulted in that incomplete pass. Because of that, it was a tougher field goal, which was missed. So if that's caught, they still probably kick the field goal there. I would assume Tampa Bay is very conservative at that kind of thing, but at least you get 3 more points on the board, which, every point helps. But that being said, going over here, we definitely saw them just look better. I mean, for one thing, this is a 3rd down and 10. They were just not converting on 3rd down and 10s this season. They were converting on a lot of 3rd downs. This play concept's a good concept, and part of maybe something I kind of thought about yesterday just when I was thinking about the game, because, I am a Buccaneers fan, so I'm constantly thinking about that kind of thing. I had just thought, I could see some sort of scenario where we see Tom Brady really pick apart zone coverage, which we have seen him do before. And that happened a little bit in this one where you have, it's a cover 2 zone. You see the way this concept can work with 3 eligible receivers lined up to Tom Brady's right, but they're all running deeper routes, which could get players out of position. So when you have now Julio Jones, who's the only wide receiver lined up to Tom Brady's left, and he runs all the way over, there could be a window for him to throw because you kind of cleared out some traffic. If not, again, on the outside of field goal range, you set up an easier field goal, so you'll take that. Right when this play begins, you see that right here, Julio Jones gets wide open. So, Tom Brady would have probably still made this throw if there was someone who's about to make a tackle, just get a few yards, pick up, enough to get a field goal. It's 0-0, and Tampa Bay has, they've been in love with field goals this season, it seemed like. A lot of people were kind of trying to figure out who they point to blame on Seattle for because, I looked on the Seahawks subreddit and it seemed like 7 different guys got the finger pointed at them there. The reality is nobody picked up Julio Jones. I think it probably should have been one of the linebackers, but I don't know. Again, teams do run this stuff differently. The reality is it's a communication thing. Guys have to know what they're doing. People brought up Kobe Bryant, who ran a much deeper route. As in, he covered a deeper route. He didn't run the route himself, but you know what I mean. Maybe that's it. Regardless, though, someone needed to be on Julio. Nobody is. And so here, Julio makes the grab, and he's going to, again, show that he still has some speed. If he can just stay healthy, he's going to get into the end zone for a touchdown. So really good stuff there from Tampa Bay to just, again, figure out the weakness and find ways to make stuff like that happen. That was definitely a part of it. Going over here, we saw some easy completions that we had not seen too much of this season. It's going to be a play action with Chris Godwin running over the middle. And these are the kind of things that everyone wants to see Tampa Bay run more. I don't think they're going to because they still sort of believe that you have to have an effective running game to run these types of plays. You do not. But regardless, this is an example of why it can work. And also, hey, the running game was relatively effective in this one. It wasn't spectacular, but, it was actually at least a decent running game. So when Brady takes the snap and runs this play action, the linebackers don't even get way out of position. That's kind of the thing, is the linebackers, play this relatively well. It's just really hard to stop this concept, which is why you see some of the best offenses in football run it so frequently. So Brady's throw is perfectly to Godwin, who sat down in that gap in coverage. So great stuff by those two guys. Again, just getting some of these easier concepts and easier plays that, listen, part of that is Seattle, right? Part of that is Seattle gave up a little bit of easier stuff, but that's a tough play for anyone to cover. I don't really know if it's fair to put a ton of blame on Seattle's defense on that one. I think that's just a well-ran play by Tampa Bay and well executed. Going over here now, this is another, again, great example of this 3rd down and 3 situation. So another 3rd down, because yes, they made the easy stuff, but they also made the difficult stuff that we hadn't seen them make, and that's kind of a big thing, is just the 3rd down consistency this game was way better than we've seen it in the past. And you felt like it would get a little better. You felt like there were some issues that you figured would just kind of fix themselves. But here, you saw it not just fix itself, but look great. And this is a great example of actually a pretty good play call, I have to say. Again, everyone likes to hate on Byron Leftwich, but I like this. To me, this works, where it's 3rd down and 3. Seattle, they could be a man, they could be in zone. You don't know. But you see where Chris Godwin is, and I think the idea is if it is his own coverage play, he could try to just find a gap very quickly. He is typically the chain mover, the 3rd down guy for Tom Brady. Watch how when Brady takes a snap and looks in that direction, though, it basically is double coverage. I mean, you could maybe still make this throw if you wanted to, but it's difficult. And again, we've seen kind of a lot of these drop passes or just misses with Chris Godwin to Brady this year. He's going to say, you know what, I have a little bit of time, let me try something else. Scotty Miller right there was doing the route where you fake as though you're running a slant, but then get to the outside, and it's about to get to his break. And I really like this concept because I like the idea of having one play that's supposed to get open at about 1.5 seconds into the play, and another route where it's supposed to get open at about 2.5 seconds into the play. So therefore, basically, you get to your first read, and if that's not open, now you get to your second read, and that's exactly when you would want to time it perfectly. So I like that stuff. To me, this is smart football, and you see Scotty Miller is in a position where he can potentially get open. Tom Brady, while getting hit by his own lineman who got pushed back into him, makes a perfectly accurate throw. Scotty Miller makes that grab, because again, that's been a part of the issues for Tampa Bay, is not making some of those grabs, but Miller makes the grab there. He didn't jump unnecessarily on that one. And so stuff like this, they're just looking a lot better. So yeah, that's what I think. Again, get rid of that 4th quarter interception by Brady. Got to obviously stop doing that stuff. Way too interesting at the end there. But hey, you pulled off a victory. Seattle's not an easy team to beat. They're a good football team. They can do some things. So, good stuff by Tampa Bay to pull off the victory. Would have felt very differently had they, collapsed that one. But hey, a win is a win. That's how you feel. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.